Let's rise. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, if we can remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our armed forces and first responders. Calling me over. Welcome everybody to this hot June meeting. Air conditioning is nice.
Yes, it is.
Alright, first order of business. We'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of 5/21/24 and the special meeting of May 30th.
Possible additions. On the front page here, it's present, nobody listed. Now, is that because they're listed on the front page?
What's
That
this?
shows right here, it's got them all listed.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
front page.
This is the front page. This is the agenda for tonight.
This is for the meeting on the 21st.
Yep, it's got everything right here listed.
And then later on in the,
This is just for that.
that's
Right here.
we
Flip that
don't,
back over the front.
I know they're listed there,
Yeah.
but you don't have
Oh,
to list it
that's,
here.
that's for the WIA stuff that was all entered in differently for the WIA.
I
So
thought
we're all
maybe
set.
that was the case, I wasn't sure.
Yep.
And then on the minutes for the 30th, as farmers market is on there every Saturday, 8-hour blocking lot, but doesn't have through October.
I wasn't here. This was not done by me. It was done by Julie.
Okay, we
So
might
you
want to
want-
add through October.
Say it through October, I guess.
Okay.
That's what it is in Facebook.
Is it?
Yeah. Addition.
Okay.
He's got an addition there.
Yeah, and the minutes from the 21st, May 21st.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not on there. You both, sir.
Yeah, you were.
May the 21st. Sure, we're on the
You were.
30th.
I'm not on the
I
third.
just kidding you. With those two additions, or, yeah, two. I make it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's good. Recommendation, the following claims to be approved, and the clerks to draw the checks.
I'll make that motion.
Motion.
Who seconded?
Nobody yet.
Oh, it doesn't say anything.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? That's carried. Now, open this up for any public discussion. Kirsten, are you here for something? Is here? Well, we're gonna get to something here in a bit. All right, so that there's nothing to bring forth to the board with public safety. You could probably just provide it to us.
The mail will read it.
Yeah.
So I do have this one though, that it's for Holly Royce to do the waiver for her civil service because she's doing. We also, this I do have to have all back. We got, this was the thing to show you won the $24,000 grant. And then this was all of his updates.
Yeah, no, that's
I think we
it.
gotta make a motion to accept this.
You have to forgive me. So, when Officer Hayden was left, he wrote a letter.
But it's probably gotta get discussed as person.
He wishes him seeking through his experiences here at Attica Police Department, invaluable in many ways. I really appreciate the department that gave me my first full-time officer experiences. I'd like to express my gratitude to Chief Hendershot as I enjoyed working for him, from him, and I hope to serve him well. I would also like to thank Officer Royce, as she was always there if I had a question. She continues to go above and beyond for everyone in the department. I always cherish the professional relationships I have developed here and the lessons I have learned. Again, I would like to stay on with a part-time capacity. I'd also like to thank the board members for giving me a chance to serve Attica community. I hope I served well. So I thought that was worth
Very good officer.
mentioning. Is, you know, and I have to say, from working with Officer Holly, she's really good.
She's fantastic.
She's
So that being said, with Officer Royce here, entertain a motion to accept. So she's going to need how to word.
it's a waiver, would it be?
It is a waiver. You can have so many hours as a part-time officer. What she's doing is extending over the hours that we allot for a part-time officer. So what she would need is a waiver, which we've done in the past.
Wait, is that a waiver for state retirement?
That's what I thought. I thought it would be a waiver for state
I
retirement.
thought this was for, she's gonna go over the allotted hours.
Well, I think part-time, I don't think that's limited hours.
I'd have to look at
That's,
it.
that has to do with state retirement. For 35,000. Affects her.
It was just something.
And they start penalizing.
Yes. This is a waiver so that she doesn't get penalized.
Yeah.
So it's something we have to fill out to send to the state to pass, or this is something I've never done before?
We provide the waiver. We just have to accept the waiver so that, apparently I didn't realize the part of the
I think
retirement
that-
thing.
I think the state ultimately.
I was going to say the state would
State
have to
does.
be. We're signing it, I think, saying we'd like to get the waiver.
But it has to be accepted
It
through the
has to
state.
go to the state to have them approve the retirement system.
And
We're
they'll be proof
requesting.
too to say that she's needed, not just because we
Right.
want her.
Right.
Right. So it'd be a motion to accept a request for a
Accept a
waiver?
request for the waiver.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Waiver.
Aye. We definitely want her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need her to get, she's been an asset to us.
So in there somewhere, if we have to give a reason, like Irv said, we got to really.
Oh, we do, because we could show
Beef
how
it up.
short-staffed.
Yeah, I'll say it. Sign it.
That should be talked about.
Let's see where I said.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
I don't sign this. I sign this. This is agency authorization.
Well, then I'll just take it and finish filling it out. I was just giving you.
Yeah, it doesn't need my signature. I don't see anywhere on here.
Okay,
It's no mistake.
on Thursday, I have a problem. Next week.
It might be.
I can.
I'm curious why it's.
Else for public safety or any discussion?
Did you want to talk about Beach Street?
It's Brenda, which is the one that makes sense. Because
Russo and Tucker. Well,
Which?
Russo.
One of them had upper rash. What's that?
Russo
Caruso. I couldn't remember which one.
and then Tucker didn't get back.
Tucker.
Oh. Because Warsaw swore him in today.
Why?
Why you didn't get back to us?
Without him being here, I want to discuss this.
Okay, that's fine.
A little story.
So it looks like two of the people we were gonna hire, we didn't come back.
Well, no, the one guy. So, yeah.
Okay. Police matters? So we'll move on to the fire department.
Since last month, we've had a total of 29 calls, 16 in the village, 5 in the town, 2 mutual aid, 3 up at Attica prison, 2 at Wyoming, and another dispatch error. Getting less on the dispatching errors, hopefully it goes to 0. But out of the mutual aid, we've sent a tanker out to Warsaw for their one barn fire. Attica 5 went to Berrysburg to stand by there. Then a tanker was requested at Colesville for a report of fire, but the chief got on scene there and saw nothing and canceled everybody. So then the other day we've had a vehicle fire out in the town. We utilized Warsaw's help to extinguish it. We started doing pump servicing and testing. It's been a little bit trying to get a hold of them to schedule us for the pump servicing and testing. Actually, they just pump servicing. But due to one of our trucks, Attica 2, has been out of service for a week, they had to rebuild the gearbox for the pump. They, over the winter time, when we had it out inspected, they noticed some leaking around the pump housing, and when we set it up for pump servicing, they tore it apart and they found some chewed up gears, so they're doing a rebuild of it right now. And they're expecting, hopefully, by the end of the week, we can get it back and we can send the next truck out. So hopefully that's the case, because it'd be nice to have that truck back. And then Jason James reached out to me. He's on the event board for down at the park. He mentioned the MMA fights being on again this year. And he asked me about doing the parking down there. As long as you guys are okay with us doing the parking at the park, which I know that's where the MMA fight's going to be at, so I'd like to ask for your guys' permission to utilize the park for parking the vehicles for them.
So first we have to accept the special event permit. Came in today.
Type in the MMA. Do you want to do this now? Or do you
Yeah, we might as well do it right now.
I'll accept that first before we can say.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was either that, I can just ask again next month.
Well,
Hopefully by that time I could hear something from the rodeo.
Might as well just get it done now.
Yeah.
All right.
So similar to last year, they're going to take down tree service. Dave Compton is going to do the MMA fight again, or he's asking the village's permission to utilize the park pavilions, similar to what happened last year. So I will entertain a motion to accept the special event application for such event on August 17th. Setup time will be August 16th. August 8th, so essentially the weekend.
And before last.
Yeah. You good? Awesome. Favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion that the fire department does the parking.
Motion to accept that the fire department does the parking.
Motion.
You have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys.
So thank you.
and then-
I made the motion, he's
and
second.
you were able to second it.
No, Matt seconded.
And then I think
it's been about a week or two. Three of us went down to Warsaw for an OSHA, pretty much seminar. Anne's got all the information, so I'm going to pass it off to her, and she's going to explain to you guys what OSHA is looking to change.
God bless you.
Great. Yeah. Can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna need the village's help. The comment period is open until June 21st. And I'm asking that the village and the members reach out to our legislatures and tell them to please back off on this. The standard hasn't been changed since 1980. So, and it's not that we're against the safety part of it, but they're making all fire departments across the country to the same standard, volunteer versus the paid services. So we're going to be held to the same standard as City of New York, Syracuse, that run a whole lot of stuff. They're going to take the Firefighter 1 course from 124 hours to 256. They're saying the pre-planning and the administrative requirements would cost about $5,000 annually, well, with all the additional paperwork. And what the problem is we have to have written plans for everything. We have to identify our services, what we can provide, what we can't. Everything has to be in a policy. And where the scary part comes in, everyone has to be trained to CPR and for AED, all members, fire department, the firefighters. We have to, our facilities would now have to be able to decontaminate, so we'd have to have another washer dryer. We would have to have an exhaust system put in for all the trucks because all that has to be stopped. So you're going to end up having to retrofit this building, which is going to be enormously expensive. There's the PPE cannot be contaminated PPE, so after a fire, it cannot go in a fire truck. It's got to be shipped separately. All fire incidences have to have a no entry zone, a hot zone, a cold zone, and a warm zone, which we technically do, but this standard says we have to have a physical barrier of different colors to separate the zones. So if you can imagine a problem at the high school and I got to figure out how to do 4 zones, I'm going to have to get a semi to get all these barriers and colored tape all over the place. So that would be a requirement, which is just pretty much impossible to do. I have to have a standard for each position. One of the huge problems is if you handle more than 15 IDHLs, which would be, it's any type of hazardous condition, which the state can say anything is hazardous, even a carbon monoxide smell. If you respond to 15 or more, you have to have an annual physical, more than what the county gives us, which works out to be about $1,500 per person. We've got 42 members. I have to have a physician on contract sign off on everybody's medical. We have to assign a EMS officer that is going to make sure every one of our members is fit for duty, which I'm not taking that responsibility. We have to provide mental health services after every single incident. We have to have a physical exercise written program. Every year, they would have to go through some agility standard and meet a standard before they could respond. I mean, some of the stuff we do to the best of our ability for the risks. We do have the safety people. We do have some SOPs and things like that. But the stuff they are requiring, the one, he was a past chief that had talked to us. They figured it out in dollars and cents. They have a 39-person company, less trucks than we do. It was going to cost them $400,000 just to come into compliance with these standards, and their taxes would go up 43%. And they're a volunteer company. So that's what they're doing with this stuff. We have to change our plans our every 5 years, or every year we have to keep the old ones for 5 years. So there's an enormous amount of paperwork. Tires can no longer be older than 7 years, so even though we don't respond to as many calls as the bigger cities, we'd have to replace all our tires every 7 years instead of just
State or is this the federal?
OSHA. This is federal. And because New York State is an OSHA state, they will follow their rules and PESH will come in and enforce them. The chief officer has to have firefighter 3, which is not even offered in New York State. So it would basically, if this goes through the way they want it, it's pretty much going to shut this fire department down. And the standards are going to be the same. Okay, so with that, I'm going to leave and take care of something.
Well, give me a call.
I will get a copy of this to you, the highlights, so that you can see it. But we're going to need emails to go and say, please.
Do you have to work tomorrow?
Yes.
I don't work till. I'll call you. I'll call you tomorrow.
I'm working in the next 20 days straight. So just catch me when you can.
Was there something about equipment couldn't be over a certain age?
15 years.
There is something that says your equipment cannot be older than 15 years, but the one guy said he cannot sign that in writing. Which again is astronomical to replace 7-shooter trucks every 15 years. So I will get the emails to Brenda so that maybe you can say it's just cost prohibitive for us to do this. And we're not against safety, but stages or tiers for the volunteers because we're not that busy. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Be safe.
What I think they're trying to do is force out their
And try. Seems like it's been pushed.
Yeah.
Sad. It's hard to get. Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine having a
They
double
push
push.
this. Agility, you know. That's
See, that doesn't make sense. What they're talking. Corrections.
can't find it. Much less a volunteer. All right, so move on to public, or, DPW.
I'll come on up, guys.
I got a few things for you. June 26th, we're going to start the water protection project. That was what, right before Doug left, he got a grant for. It's 100% free. We're just basically going to do an overlook at our reservoirs, Crow's Creek, just protection of our water. It's free from, Labella's was the winning bid on it, so the state will pay them to them. So that starts at 26. We're doing a 1 o'clock Zoom meeting. I forgot to email you.
I was gonna say, is that what I'm?
You can, if you can't, it's summertime. He knows it's going to be tough to get going. So everybody on vacations.
1 p.m.?
1 p.m.
If you could send me out so with the Zoom.
Yep, I will get that tomorrow. I'll do. You want one too?
Yeah, I might be able to just sit down with you.
Okay. I was thinking about coming up here and doing it on the big
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, then maybe I can
Email Kurt.
get some time off finally. Starting today. Tomorrow.
The other thing is, they came out from Labella's. We had a dam study that we approved, I think, in the January meeting. Don Lucas came out. He is going to get some stuff together. I showed him number 1 and number 2, and I told him that we didn't know if we wanted to remove or keep number 1. We're tossing up. What I said I wanted is a breakdown for you guys to see what it will cost us to keep it, what it'll cost us to get rid of it, and the long-term benefits of keeping it or not keeping it. That would be a roadway from the plant up to number 2, and that will also be a roadway from Tim Snyder's down to number 2. So we're going to have a safety issue put into that too. And the other major factor is the DEC wanted a tree removed at number 3 reservoir. They're going to look into that too, see what we can do to allow us as DPW workers to tackle that project.
See one in a tree room.
For the it's in the face of the embankment, and it's a tree that's been there for 150 years, but erosion, so, and it's on the other side, so you gotta have your equipment. We'll get it figured out. But on that note, I got a call from Occidental Chemical. They want an answer on if we want the building, if we want the building with the pumps in it, if we want the building without the pumps in it. We do want the building because it's a storage building. We want the building with the pumps in it if we decide to keep number 1, to pump the water up to number 2. So my recommendations to you guys would be to I'll talk to the guy and say, how about you just give us the billing the way it is? If for some reason we don't want the pumps, we'll scrap them.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to get rid of something that we would have to turn around and put another couple $100,000 into if we decide to
Their
go
intention
the other
is
way.
Just to walk away, right, still?
They're gonna, I told them they had to cap it at the road, across the street on state land. They had to cap it for them to get their water withdrawal report taken care of. And I said, then that way we would take everything from our side over, because it's all gonna have to be removed, that line when we do our driveway for the new line.
Yep.
So it'd just be an excavator pulling it out, so.
Doc's gonna sign off on them. Property. Ours.
It's
It's gonna
hard,
be a work permit. Docs too.
yeah, it's gonna be, that's on them.
I know that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
Docs-
the guy from Occidental, he hasn't really given us any insight for the last 5 years, so. I'm gonna let
Other
him-
docs charges them, but I doubt docs is.
They got it right away there. So,
Yeah,
they got it right away.
Years ago. Seems like everything's in there.
Oh, yeah, everything's tough. The other thing was Camp Hard Hat. Craig came and seen Corey. Corey's going to give him a hand getting that prepped and ready with the holes and stuff like that. He asked him, Corey does that quite a bit, so they're going to tackle that. I'm going on vacation the 29th through the 8th of July, and Corey's going to check everything at the plant in the morning, make sure everything's good, and if it's good, he's going to go down and help Craig out the park.
Thank you.
Yep. Bulk water sales are starting to go up. I was texting earlier, a guy texted me and asked if he could get it tomorrow, and Corey is working, so he's going to get some up at the plant tomorrow. So with that being said, I don't know if you guys thought it all. I know it's not happening this year. I'm a planner. I like to know if it's something that I can need any more information about the bulk water sales on Shane Street. Gave you from last meeting.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it is too.
I do too.
Would you like me to get hard numbers then? I mean, I gave you guys a number for the unit. I can get a hold of guys and see what the cement pad would be, some plumbing to it, electric to it, internet to it. Like I can get some hard numbers in the next few board meetings, so you guys know a solid number what that would cost. And the last thing I have is an email from Nate. I'd like to talk about Cascade Road. That was brought to our attention about 4 years ago, I
At
think.
least. Down.
Yeah, when Doug, not Doug is, Dave, right? Dave Higgins?
No, it was Doug Higgins.
Doug Higgins.
It was Doug Higgins. Okay, and this estate, they said they wanted to get rid of it. We said no at the time because of liability, and I do understand that. Liability is huge.
The reason why I reached out to you, without even saying I knew the liability part, but because that is our watershed right there. That's
I think a couple signs, if we talk to a lawyer, that would, I mean, we have a reservoir open that people don't obey. That's just as big as liability as that. The only thing I'm saying is that is our water, I mean, that's immediate to our water source. That is 150 yards away from entering where we drink our water. So I think it would be positive if it's not a huge liability to take that on, just because I think.
the downside of it is, though, if I remember correctly, they want to keep it open to the public.
That's what.
That I understand they want to open it to the public, but maybe we would have to talk to a lawyer, because we
Yeah.
never did talk to a lawyer on it.
I think we did reach out to Tim on that.
Did you?
I think so. That was, I bet you it was longer than 4 years ago.
I remember it coming up
Because I want to say I was liaison for the town. So I wasn't even mayor at the time.
Okay.
It's been that long.
It just seems like, talk about water protection.
I know, that's,
I mean,
I mean,
you can't enforce anything there. I mean, I go by there every day going to work and coming
Right.
home from work, and there's people down there. For the most part, they're hiking it. But
But I'd hate to see it also, too. You look on the side of, if they were to sell it, then it turns into somebody else's playland, and we have no say in anything.
They're back. You want me to tell you the backup plan?
Sure.
They're just gonna donate to the nature.
Well,
Which
Well.
is gonna be the same exact thing.
but are
It's
we
gonna,
gonna,
it's gonna happen, what happened.
isn't there, you have to go down there, I mean, just really just kind of check it, right?
no, we'll go to number 2 and row across once a year and make sure that, the mouth of our reservoir is no trees down or anything like that. But
Which is a hike in itself.
yeah, I mean, it's down a cliff. There's a rope there, I think, still.
Yeah, I go down.
Yeah.
a couple times a year, and for the most part, everybody's very respectful of it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever see, miss a week, but it's not like it's heaps of trash or heaps of, you know.
There was a fire pit there one year.
Yeah.
Somebody had a little fire
Someone
there.
camped there
Yeah. And I know Buster Stedman's
on the other
is
side.
on the other side.
Well, on the top, there's another land that runs up the creek edge.
But I think I'm
So
tossed
I'm in
up.
the dark here. What's,
You know where Cascade Falls is?
yeah,
Yeah. Doug Higgins, when he passed, or years ago, wanted to give that property to the village, wanted to give it to the town. The town didn't want it, so they offered it to the village, and Doug looked into it, Doug Post, and said, it's a huge liability. And we all agreed that it was a huge liability. We thought that Genesee County was going to take it over, and we would still have somebody that would be able to control what's going on down there a little bit more. We wouldn't be on the hook for anything that could happen.
So everybody wants to shy away from it, but
Because I mean, you do the wrong thing down there, you can get hurt.
oh yeah.
I do put that as a stated taxes out, just
From the town?
taxes, yeah, we'll pay town tax. So I'm wondering if because of the line of the law that we have to keep up to public access, or if there's a way we can tax to. So again, another thing for the attorney, but
yeah.
I don't have to pay more taxes. Or, you know.
It's 2 acres.
2.5, it
Yeah.
said. So I think maybe we should go down the road of talking to somebody else, seeing what it would, if the benefits and the negatives, just like the dams. Let's see because I don't think you have to answer that email immediately, do you?
No.
No. So they're just not saying it's either you guys decide this week or we're done.
The weird thing is, if you look from the boundaries, they access through Doug's, but where they scaled down and actually go to the water is the adjacent property of Cameron Huff, and that's who's in between Higgins and Foster. So the other access point is all that Cameron Huff, including the waterway, everything else. Doug owns along the road to where the new culvert was put in. But as soon as like the culvert ends is where his property boundary cuts back to the west.
Oh, so it's got none of the dams.
It's kind of bizarre. Yeah, none of the falls.
None of the falls.
Essentially. Well, the new falls.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? How they've moved just like where the sluice was. But, yeah, it's that Cameron Huff.
So we'll do it, yeah, we'll look into it, send it to, get Tim on it. See what our options are. And
Because I know that since I've been here, the biggest thing is if there's property that comes up for sale that has anything to do with our waterway or our reservoirs we bought. So I just thought that,
the other thing that makes me nervous is,
yeah, that makes me nervous too.
You want to go see and on Thursday, or
I won't be, I'm actually leaving, I'll be out of town Thursday. I'll be back next week. So, yeah, we'll send her the email. Yeah,
Yeah. Plus,
that's what I'm going to discuss with you tonight. That's what it is. Remember it?
I think Chris was on the
I
board.
think so too.
Yeah, I think you were the mayor.
I'm lost on the ring.
It was a while ago.
It was, okay. Yeah.
Now, because it took
Well,
me
they're
by
all blended
surprise
together
that-
to me now.
Yeah, that nothing has been done about it yet.
Yeah, I remember it got brought up a lot. But other than that, unless you guys have something for me? Okay. On to Dougie.
No. Apologize for my tardiness and ill-preparedness, but real short, everything's been going really well. The wet testing that we have to do on a 5-year basis, we performed last week. That went well to my knowledge. We'll get the test results back in a couple weeks probably. The meeting with the DEC, which was with our local water rep, Ricky Smith, as well as another regional rep whose name is Rob Losey. Came out, it was very constructive in my opinion. We went through the entire plant from start to finish. It took us like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and
even Evan and Ben had commented like they even learned more things about it just from how in-depth it was. I mean, the guy asked 9 million questions. Some of them in my eyes seemed elementary for someone who is supervising and critiquing operationals to an extent, but that's how it goes, right? So at the end of it, we kind of just like talked roughly about like what some potential solutions may be to the issue that we're having. And he said, oh, well, why don't you write up a proposal, and give that to us, and it would be an alteration to our permit. Now, our Speedies permit is basically a review of the performance of our plant that they set forth and put in hard writing of what we have to abide by. In my opinion, I don't feel as if it's right or necessary for us to give them a suggestion that they can then hold us to. It also kind of forces their hand in an extent to that if they think that we're not living up to a standard that they've set, that's their issue, right? So not only to that, I would never draft something and send it for approval without sharing it with Brenda's knowledge, your guys' approval, that would alter something so heavily, which could be severe financial implications, whatever they come up with, without at least, someone saying, yeah, okay, that's the right thing to do. Not only me voicing my opinion on it.
Have they requested this through email?
So what happened, Ricky did email me back and wanted to talk with central office and asked if I had it finished yet. I shared those. I expressed those same concerns with him. I had told him that basically what I was doing was like in-house alterations or adjusting of our testing, kind of like my own sample set of just research, if you will. I changed one variable each week for 3 consecutive weeks to try to see if we were actually getting impact from that or if it was simply just the changes in our loadings, because that's how our system is. So in layman terms, every time they design something with water flow, and Matt can attest to this, design is very different more often than not in terms of real practical installation. So when you have force or gravity, you have very differing, everything's not the same slope, everything's not the same pitch, everything's not the same diameter. So although it's all calculated out that it's supposed to be a very consistent flow rate, like you'd think we'd get the same flow every day, it varies greatly. And with that, the concentrations vary greatly. So the second half of our proposal, the proposal was basically saying if we can reduce and halt all recycling, all wasting, which is what had been suspected to impact this influent, they would allow us to basically create a baseline on a quarterly basis where we wouldn't have that going on in the plant, so we would be getting the purest sample that we ever could. And then after that, we would go back to normal operations, and our weekly effluent sample would always be computed back to and against that sample set. So for each quarter that we'd have during the year, because you have wet periods and dry periods, we'd basically create a new sample set for them to go back against. That was my idea. Rob liked it. Ricky did as well. But again, I don't feel that, it should come from me, because I don't want to put something in writing that confines or binds us to something that we shouldn't have to. If that's a solution that they want to pursue, then they need to be the ones, in my opinion, that have to hand that down. Because it will change several things. So the 3 variations the 3 variables that I changed, I'm waiting on the test results. Now, week 1 showed great reduction in the influent settling, or in the influent TSS, which would get us well within our limits. But the problem is you don't know if it's that variable or if what has changed in your flow that day. That's the hardest part to pinpoint.
What is the influent TSS?
That is what is, they're basically saying that we're in, influent means coming into the plant. TSS is total soluble solid, so it's all solids within the plant. Our plant is designed at a capacity to hold X. And what they're saying that we're in violation of is on 8 months out of the year, we are over X. And saying, well, your plant can't handle it. You need a plan for growth. You need a plan to adjust your plant. Meanwhile, all 52 weeks, all 12 monthlies, all 1 annual test results prove again and again that our plant can handle it. So it's just the way our plant runs and operates, and that's basically all this information is given on an annual basis to Nussbaumer, where they do hand calculations in on writing, and it just say, we haven't had any growth, we don't plan to have any growth. Here's your plant performance levels over the last 40 years. What are you guys getting hung up on? You know, and that's
We've probably even had a reduction due to the
correct. But yet somehow, and even still, so partnered in with that, you've had preliminary treatment added at the correctional facilities, as well as now primary treatment. But yet we're still getting these residual flows, and that speaks more to the differences in our collection systems. Now, if you guys are familiar enough, a force main means that it's pumped to a plant. So you have your sewer system is pumped final stages. Now, pumps always push out a very consistent rate. Well, with Matt knows too, like all on gravity, you have slumps, you have, you know, different in pitches, and what you have is like sloughs, if you will. You'll have a large take in and then it dribbles. Yeah, it's very inconsistent in terms of what could be hourly, daily, weekly, you know, as then if you get a rain or you have a heavy flow and it flushes stuff, then you get large loadings on the front end of it and very minimal on the back end. And there's too many variables. So the part which I've spoke with Bruce Clark or Bruce Shear about as well from Nussbaumer has been, they're almost taking it as if that the influent is always the same. And that's just how they're looking at it. It's so black and white. And it bothers me, like I expressed last board meeting, is you're getting caught up on a hypothetical number that means absolutely nothing when we have proven test results time and time again that the plant is sufficient enough and does its job well enough. You know, we are meeting exceptional goals here. What do we, you know, but hey, that's kind of the update with that. So I just got the test results back from the week 2 variable change. And our daily loading is 1,063 pounds per day of TSS, and we were at 1,053. Now, the week before that's testing, which could be just a difference in flow, was 510 pounds. So you see the vast difference we talk about here. And Bruce has cited in every conversation that we've had, we're not the only municipality that goes through this. It's just we are that close to the threshold that some years we surpass that 8 months, some years that we don't. So I believe the DEC can then hand down a statement, and this is what, hypothetically, in my opinion, what they're going to do, is saying you're going to have an engineered report that says, here's our plan for growth. And ultimately, my recommendation, as well as what I've talked with Bruce, is going to say the performance levels of our plant have been sufficient for 40 years. If and when it is not meeting our effluent standards of reduction in any variable that they pick, test standard, doesn't matter, then we will submit a more detailed plan in terms of improving the plant's treat ability. Does that make sense?
Excuse me, cut and dry. Yeah.
And I think that's all they're looking for somewhat, is an engineering stamp that says, okay, yep, now we have this piece of paper that satisfies your minor 1 flag violation. Pass. Yeah. So the Rob Losey was a very nice individual. In my eyes, looks at things very much too black and white. And he even said, you know, we're not licensed operator. I cannot tell you what you need to do to, you know, exceed this expectation, reach a success in this, whatever. It doesn't matter. I can't do that. So what are you doing?
Took the word right out of my mouth.
Right, but that's what we're forced with. So I've been in communication. I've just kept everybody up to date, just keeping you guys up to date. Nothing's wrong. We don't have violations. We don't have any effluent violations, which is their utmost concern and my utmost concern. So therefore, I think we just continue as normal until they hand us something formal that says we need this, period. So if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. Once I did talk with Ricky, and once I have some more formal conclusions from changing those variables in-house, I'll just talk with him, talk it over, see how it goes. Week 1, I thought this was going to be great. This last variable change that we did puts us right against the threshold again. It means like week 1 means absolutely nothing. That's how silly it is. But that's what we're left with. So.
I would even add that even for 40 years, we've even had 400 more customers attached to this.
Right, I agree.
As the numbers are down, we should still be able to stay within that threshold if we're even further down. So even if we
It
went
is
back
it
down-
is perplexing as to why those levels have risen to the extent that they have, even though we've had a dwindling population decrease, mainly within the facilities. Why we're still that close to the threshold, I can't answer that. Whether that's an engineering study, which I hope not, as to why that's coming through, but I would really attribute it to just our complete gravity system. And that is, we are unique. We are a very rare municipality that is 100% completely gravity fed. Most municipalities have at least one force main somewhere. Just our topographical layout of the village has allowed us to be all gravity, which is nice, but is also giving us this implication here. So that's what I got for you guys. If you guys have any questions, you guys are welcome to call me anytime or ask for anything. Nothing is formal to the point where it needs to be followed up with signatures or, you know what I mean? So just keeping you guys informed. So, yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, and Ben was approved to go to school in April. I submitted that bill. He's going to his first schooling session in August. And then he has another one after that, a longer one that he's going to have to attend, I believe, in November. So he won't be eligible to take his license operation until December, like the end of December at the earliest. But that's where we're at with that. So other than that, that's it. Normal stuff.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
And yeah, sometime next week, I want to get with all department heads and just sit down and have a little powwow, just bounce some ideas around and stuff, with new administrator, see how we can move forward, some different ideas, and sure everybody work together.
An email or text?
Yeah, I'll shoot an email out sometime next week. Sorry, it'll be because you're leaving what, the 29th? You said?
Yes.
Okay, it'll be before that. Okay, all right. So, if no questions, we'll move on to liaison.
What?
Oh,
Just
sorry.
real quick, a couple things. I just want to, since Craig's not able to be here, I just want to say thank you for doing the parking lots.
Oh, it does work. I did see, I went down there and they are parked in there.
I know we got the one spot across from the liquor store in front of the bank, red. I think it infringed a little bit toward, right at Prospector. I think for the most part, it looks good. And we'll see.
It does.
We'll see what happens.
It's working.
Then the only other question I had is, what's the update on the splash pad? I guess it's still, part of it's not working.
No, it's all working.
Is it?
No, it's
No,
still missing the.
It looks like it is.
There's a part
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
Well, it looked like everything was working. Driven by it a couple times. It looked to me like everything was
I went down last night, the Chloe's baseball team had a little party there.
Yeah, something.
And they said, what happened to the thing? And only half of it's working.
Yeah.
That part.
So they're waiting on a part, yeah.
Yeah.
I know last month, before Memorial Day, they were hopefully to get the part.
Didn't
But
get it.
obviously it's a month later, so it just haven't got the part.
And he actually said today 4 calls to them, and I think the company dropped the ball on it.
What she said, he called the company themselves and not the distributor of it to try to, come to a resolution. Still haven't returned his call.
Only thing I would add to that as far as the splash pad is that next year when we would cut off the breaker that area because I guess it was some surge that caused the problem. Maybe if that's the case, if the breaker is, you're not going to get any surge to that room.
Factor on it too.
Well,
They should have installed that.
That's what Craig thought. Maybe it was a surge, and if
I know
that's the case,
Yeah.
cut the breaker off, then I think that would give another side of, protect it.
Yeah, I thought it looked to me like everything was working.
Yeah, I had my counter with half of it.
Or,
Yeah, the left side.
hopefully that comes in.
Service in today's world.
Yeah.
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still had fun.
No, I got something when we do village administration.
So if nothing else on DPW, we'll move on to the. Oh, okay.
You're gonna
I forgot, yeah.
eliminate, just because he isn't here. But I want to thank those two for coming, because I'll tell you, it makes a big difference,
Yep.
especially the tour area, because you being here gives us a lot more information than what we've been used to.
Still way above my pay
You guys are
grade.
welcome anytime. Come
Yeah.
down, take my paperwork. You guys can have it.
But it's interesting,
I'd like to stop down next week too. I'd like to stop.
a lot of information there that I had too.
Right.
But at least get an explanation as what's going on there.
It's good not to be blindsided out.
Yeah.
Just a couple things. The brush pickup was done Monday. Zip line in the park broke. Part's been ordered. When that comes in,
I wait for months for that.
well, hopefully not. But
January.
Yeah.
I
I should
thought
order
there was
more
a-
than one
a
at a
ratchet
time.
strap hanging from it. Was a ratchet strap hanging?
Yeah,
Should have a couple of things on it.
some MacGyver.
Yeah,
Right,
get
we
the
go
ratchet
through those
strap
things like
on.
crazy.
Yeah.
The kids were using it.
Well, this
Yeah.
is, the last one we had lasted 3
You
years.
gotta give them some credit.
It's
It's
a
like
replacement.
$300 and some dollars
That little piece of plastic?
or more.
I think he said you had to buy the whole unit.
Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
unit.
They won't sell the parcel, you have to buy the whole deal.
the striping, stripping,
Yeah.
stripping.
That's an
I'm
executive
good.
session.
Thank you. No.
That's a new avenue here. Okay, striping. I think it should be pretty much done today, right? He was in the office there when I was there, and he had some little area that he had to finish. Yeah. Other than that, it's pretty much done.
What, I didn't pay attention to Mark.
We're just gonna do this side of market. I thought it was done.
Okay, it might be, I just didn't pay
I
attention.
haven't.
I didn't pay too much attention to it.
No, I think he was waiting so that they could utilize that before it was coned off to do market.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
And we saw him this morning, he said he had to stop because of impending rain, which it did start raining.
It's coming in pretty early to do
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Jefferson Street is done.
I don't think it's totally done.
Well, they got it topping.
Top it.
Yeah, that's, other than that, it's pretty done. Very costly though.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Hans.
I know, I started the things. Oh, well. Looking at doing sidewalks on Washington Street. And Pavilion, I think we already discussed that as far as work going to start on that. And there was a question on the steel for the roof. We're going to buy the steel.
We are buying the steel? No, we're getting the steel off of the.
Well, what I was told this morning, that was changed.
Well, they didn't actually change it. They said that it might be, right, Brenda? That's what Corey said. I don't know how you guys.
that's for
But you're gonna have to purchase, purchase the trim portions of it, parts of it. They're gonna be able to use the roof panels from the water plant, just
Yeah.
cut to length.
We're just.
But it was,
So we are going to use panels from the water plant?
feel like
No,
it's
yeah.
Yeah,
best.
you know what? Yeah, it's a juggling act right now. Can the board make a decision on how you want it done? The panels that I have at the water plant can work.
It can work.
they're brown.
They're brown.
Brown, the only thing is that they're brown,
So
which is
much
different
pink.
than the rest of the building.
And we do we'll have to buy the gable ends and other stuff for it, and a couple bags of screws. But other than
Saves
that,
money, right?
A lot, a couple thousand, right?
Yeah, it was like 1,200, I
600.
think, for the sheet steel. The rest of the trimming and screws.
We're going with it.
Still different.
okay,
Okay.
so the board
Does
decided.
Everybody
to-
agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go with what we got.
Thank
Okay.
you. You guys
All right.
decided. Then
Okay, I thought that was a decision.
Yeah.
Well, that was.
Well, we just
Until
don't.
when I was
That
told
was-
this morning that it changed.
Good side.
Street hockey, in the little area of street hockey, apparently Craig got, some lady got a hold of him and said
No, as
that,
a gentleman, he got a hold of me, I sent it to Craig.
okay. And then, I went down and looked at it, and there is a crack in there with grass growing up, but, you know, how many people we really got using that, and
Craig seems to think there isn't too many people who use it. I don't know if they don't use it because it is a crack in the middle.
but can we, you know, put fill in that crack?
It's gonna be very costly. I guess you have to cut it out, patch it, and then seal over the top of it.
Because you got wheels going over it. It's not like you're walking. You have rollerblade wheels and stuff like that. You're talking inside the fenced area, right?
Yeah.
But at least we can do is cut the grass. Grown up.
Actually, that shows you right there that there's a problem there. So if you cut the grass and there's a lip there and somebody's down there, unless you're gonna cone it,
I'd rather dig it out.
yeah. Get rid of it, take down and really think.
Yeah, that's the event center they want to put in it's an ice rink, hockey rink. And that's not going to happen until probably next year at the best.
Is that where the guy was here was gonna put up the
Yeah,
in there?
so I'd hate to spend taxpayers' dollars on this if that does happen next year. But this makes no sense over here.
Yeah.
I'd much rather see the pickleball court go in, spend money on that, rather than spend money on that. I've only had, and I think I can talk to him. Can't do that.
How many people I've ever seen on there was Kenny and Travis.
Yeah.
Used to the two people I see playing hockey. They
Yeah,
just play
used to be some kid used to play on it, but it's since gone.
Pickleball
Somebody
course
says.
would be cool.
A lot of people still go to the school.
Yeah, that'd
Still
be
use
so
the
much
school if
better.
I'm wrong.
Yep.
Pickleball would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we probably
Yeah, I think you understand. Yeah.
gotta go no.
Yeah, I'd like to see it just dug out, maybe stone parking. We need more parking down there for way. Yeah.
And this didn't come from Craig, but I just was walking up. Prospector the other night. Whatever happened to repairing the wall by Five Star Bank where
He was at the other day.
Yeah, I'm filling out part 2. Seems like it's gonna be a long process.
FEMA. In the process. We got accepted for the FEMA, but now it starts.
And then the next problem is when Andy did it out, he didn't do like an FRP saying, this is what we gotta do, this is what we're allowed to spend, who wants to bid. He just said, bid it out, well, if it was coming in over $100,000 over what we're getting FEMA. So Andy's gonna try to rebid it out again.
but that's still in the process.
Oh yeah, I already filed the first quarter, now I'm waiting for the
And it looks
boards.
like that hole's getting bigger. That's it. It's
We discussed the lighting. Did you find anything out about that? They're gonna, you know how they redid all the LED lights, just not the decorative lights.
Yeah,
So we got approved to.
the decorative
Yes.
He was calling grid.
thing was
Yeah.
For the down ones on the street, you're saying?
The decorative ones.
Yeah,
The county run.
He's calling grid. They have to be the ones who install them.
Right.
That's-
Right, yeah. We were told that we were gonna be pretty short on the list, so we're gonna. Months ago. Nope, that's it, it's a liaison.
Same thing that fire department was there explaining the new ocean. Yeah. Same thing there, that they got a call right when they were starting it, and they had to go on a call. So he was more in-depth expecting. So that was good. That sounds like they're just trying to do away with volunteer fire.
I have that. Yeah, these guys.
So I was given this to make copies, but I gotta give this back to make you guys copies.
If you could, yeah, make us copies.
Yeah, if you
Put
could,
it in
please.
your, up in your boxes.
Yes.
Please.
Actually, make me a copy if you would. I have it on my.
I will make
You know,
They also, I talked about the land in Cascade. Yeah, they not interested in it whatsoever.
I wonder what the reasoning is. Did they say?
Liability.
Liability, huge liability, they said. They didn't want to get into it.
They didn't want to bend.
Hospital is critical access. Over in Warsaw, apparently, is going to money, and that's going to help the hospital tremendously, financially.
It's your.
Well, this is, I think this is kind of a continuous type thing for help that hospital financially, hopefully.
Yeah.
However, the ambulance service there is costing more than what the hospital is costing the taxpayer.
And I will say Brian did vote against it,
Yes.
rightfully so. Very adamant.
Yes.
Very
Yeah,
adamant
he still
against
is.
it. Yeah. It's a big mistake.
Gary Ambulance is thinking very seriously about holding. Not to have any Gary Ambulance service due to things, issues, money, and also the what you have to do and regulations that are down. Talking very seriously about fall onto money.
That sounds like they might not be having that much longer.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not only money wise, but staff wise, or
Very center.
village.
That's-
Spectrum with their extension. Still nothing heard from them, like apparently. Water district meeting is going to be the 26th. Oh,
Well, it was Gary. Who?
Gary.
Yeah.
It was you.
Was it me? But most of the time I couldn't go because I was working.
Yeah, that was, I think you said.
I think I only hit maybe one or two.
What day is it?
26th.
At what time? It's our meeting at 1
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah.
This is your meetings at 1.
They never told us anything.
Well, that's the first thing I heard about it.
What time?
Did they say a time?
They didn't give a time.
Okay, I'll find out
Reach
tomorrow
out
what
to
time
Gary.
it is.
Yeah, let me know if you could.
I'll shoot an
I
email.
might be able to go to that if it's.
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah, let me know too. I can guess I'm supposed to. But for the meeting.
Well, Chris has to work too. That's the problem.
Well, no, he's on the police and he'll be paying.
Boy, Pam might be able to. Yeah, Pam, I think she's. Yeah.
Well, let me know what time it is and see if I can make
I'm
it.
going to send an email to everybody.
But I know that I was only there.
You have to send a pigeon to Hans.
Yeah.
I'll send you a text.
There you go.
Send me a text, yeah.
I will, I'll send you a
Yeah.
text.
Not an email.
Hopefully it's in the morning. You also got, is it a meeting with the Bellas?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll call, it'll be easier for me to call the Bellas and find out.
Again, their architect, who is the new one that the town has hired to give them another price on that refurbishing that building they bought. She's going to be with them this coming week. The new price possibly out the front, and handicapped entrance, and they're running into problems there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is, many years ago, there was for veterans, Cold War exemption for on their taxes. It was only for 10 years. And it ran out 15 years ago. It has never been redone. People, if there is anybody who qualified for this, got this reduction for these 15 years, but this particular year they will not get it.
Unless they vote on extending it. Like
Well,
we voted on it 3 years ago.
Cold War?
Yep.
And Vietnam. Also, according to that, now, this is what the town is talking. I don't know if Vietnam was part of that or not. I remember something about the Cold War, but I don't know. Nobody has complained. They've all got their village tax already, right? Nobody's complained that they did their exact.
We said they would get it this year, just not next year.
Wouldn't get it this year. That's what they're saying. Because they apparently the county or somebody in the state all of a sudden woke up to the fact that they shouldn't have gotten it unless they adopted it. So unless when we did ours, care of it. But the town, I don't know.
We actually did it for the first time. It wasn't included Cold War.
What, about 6 months ago, I think you did it?
No, it was a couple of years ago.
I remember.
I told you everything's a blur, but I
Yeah.
remember you guys.
It was at least a year ago. At least a year ago. Not two.
Well, apparently we must be okay,
We should be
Or-
village-wise.
or there isn't hardly anybody that is qualified, or was qualified, and that you would think that it was like $1,200 or $1,500 off their assessment, something like that. And if they didn't get that this year, people would be bitching by now. Got their bill the first of June. They haven't heard nothing.
Sure, with the price of everything going up, they just looked at it and just thought, well, that's just the way it is because everything else is going up.
Yeah.
Didn't know to see that.
But that might be something we might want to make kind of.
Well, town, I mean, we should be
Check with the county and see what they're going on with that. If they have any list of people or whatever. I don't know.
the people of the village.
Village, of course,
Yeah.
town apparently. Had no idea.
They can adopt it.
Yeah. That's about it. Ain't much more. Quick meeting.
Nobody here from the planning board? I'll discuss this now. I'm actually going to, the zoning board is having a meeting July 1st. Any one of you guys like to go with me? I have three. I'd like to go talk with them. What I'd like to see done, we've talked about this before, on my time off here, I'd like to see us reach out to the public and get some more people involved on these boards, rather than just the same three on all three boards, planning, zoning, and appeals. So I know Mr. Kirsch, you take an interest in it. I'd like to put something out, if you guys agree, something out to the public, looking for other people that are interested.
When is their term up? When we have them?
That I don't know.
I think it's next.
I mean, I think it's every year we approve, like every year of our
I think it's
meetings.
I'll look up.
I mean, I can imagine we could just get anybody on, just like a code enforcement officer. What are we doing about that?
So we have to advertise it for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we have one individual that's applied.
Who would that be?
I don't know. And then also there's somebody else that could be interested, but once the 2 weeks are up, I'll bring it to you guys at the next.
So we'd like to get somebody on that. As long as we're in agreement with that, I'm going to bring it up to our zoning board. 3 people on the team. Just, just it'd be nice to have some different sets of eyes on things. So, also going there to discuss the sign for the gate.
Yeah, because if you're on this board and someone wants to appeal it, well, we're the appeal board too.
Yeah.
So we turn you down here, we're probably going to turn you down on the appeal.
Doesn't seem fair.
No,
It doesn't make sense at all.
but it probably comes down to no one volunteers.
Yes, I'm sure, yeah.
It's a
But
paid
I'm-
position, though.
do they get
It's a
paid?
position.
It's a paid position. I want to say it's only $25 a meeting or something.
Yeah.
I think
It's on the
there's,
zoning board.
I think you only meet a few times a year though, so it's not like you're gonna break the bank or anything in a paid position, but something I'm sure people will be interested. I
It might
know
be
Jim
in the
is,
planning board, too.
even Ellen has even brought up about,
You have to be.
that I don't know. That's what I want to look into. If you need to be a village resident or town would be included as well. I don't know. I don't know. What's that?
I can't.
Yeah, that's what we'd have to reach.
Yeah.
Stipulations
We
on
don't
that.
wanna, yeah, we don't wanna.
Something I want to look into here. So that's all I have for planning board. Village administrator.
So we're working on, Doug's been to come in and we're working on year end. All that stuff is filed to the state as well. Gotta do ID for me, get all, okay. We gotta get a budget, we gotta get it, the month we're, so there's a budget report. We're working on getting it balanced, I consolidate our balance. So once it's, because you can't close your books if it's not correct.
Right.
Have it correct before you can. Right.
Anything else?
I got a question.
It's a question.
Someone brought to my attention that you're supposed to, Kathy Hochul supposedly started a new law saying that you're supposed to put your agenda for your meeting on the website prior to your meetings. I don't know about this, but Sandy Pruzak's the one who brought it up
She's
to
the
me.
one that, yeah, she
And
says.
I think she said she contacted you,
Yeah.
so she just asked me what the status of that was. Is
I
this-
put the, I didn't get this one, but I did do the last one on beforehand, yep.
I mean, I know when I was on board before, we always approved something, the agenda or the meeting minutes, then we put it on.
Right, that's what I
Supposedly
think
now we're
is weird.
supposed to put all this stuff on ahead of time.
Yeah, that's, yeah, I think it's
I don't know why, but
Other regulations.
because I always want the board to see the stuff before the public. Meaning what you guys should be seeing before.
Well, it might be so the public knows what's going to be on the agenda. I mean, I don't even know, like the school. I don't know if the
so we're gonna do that.
I did it last month.
I mean, I think that's a good idea.
I don't, it doesn't hide nothing. Transparency, I think, is the way to go. It's nothing.
You know what I mean? There's something that's gonna be a draft.
Right.
Yeah, and I tried to make a draft written on it. So in the minutes, then,
Yeah.
so when I, agenda would say draft. And when it gets approved by you guys, the draft comes off and then it gets finalized.
I don't know if you can put a note on there. Is that just a-
It's just a draft agenda.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I think the draft says it.
Yeah, I'm working on it because the last time I tried to put the minutes on, it bounced it back. So I've been struggling with some of the stuff on there. Website.
I haven't gone on the website recently. So.
I go in there every now and again.
They're on there.
Okay, thank you. Talking about the governor, he was on the news yesterday. The air conditioners, the grid is not cut down on your air conditioning. Cut it off if you leave the house unless you have animals in the house. Was over this whole thing. However, she never mentioned don't charge your electric car.
I was gonna say, how about electric cars?
They don't do that in California either.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Yeah, another thing about the layout, I did talk to Chief Police about the, also on the news, I can't remember what state it was, but there was a car accident with an electric car. And the state will not respond quickly to that accident because of the explosions. And it showed this car on fire, and there was almost like grenades going off.
So that's
Four or
actually,
five of them.
I know which one you're talking about. That's actually not something that was in the car. That was proved to be a hoax.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's really nothing in an electric car. It'll stay on fire longer, but it doesn't have the explosion like
Okay, right.
they showed.
Man,
I saw that and I looked into it.
He said, holy cow, that was just like grenades going on.
Yeah. Careful about the internet.
I did mention that. I did mention
If
it.
it's on the internet, it's gotta be true,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah.
I would have had fire probably start to get.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one of the first things they do. I cut the battery on a regular car. Cut the battery. I don't know what
And lithium is explosive, right?
Lithium, it's just a harder to
But-
burn and flame, and you're not putting it out unless you have the phone.
Right.
That's the only way you're putting it in a
But
car.
the video he's talking about, they were like
I see it.
explosions.
Oh, God, yeah.
I had to do a Google search. I had a buddy of mine send me that. It's not exactly 100% accurate.
There was a little bit
yeah.
of explosives in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it look a little bit
Moving
worse
right
than it
along.
was.
Yep.
All right. So anything else, village administrator? No. All right. Does anybody have any old business? Well, we do have old business and afterwards. We'll put the new business after the old business, right after. We just go old business to new business. All right. So recommended action, the village board of trustees appoints Barb Higgins for zoning board of appeals alternate. So, yes, I don't understand. I'd like to table this too again.
Yeah.
No, it's not town planning.
Yeah.
So what do they need an alternate for? I'd like to see if maybe she'd like a position in, if we do extend it.
She was here last month to
Yeah, I
talk
know.
about it, and we
Yeah.
capitalized, and she was here to
Correct. I mean,
ask the questions.
they should be set for their meeting next. I think we can wait another month, unless you guys want to make the motion. I'd like to see if maybe, if she's interested, maybe she'd take a position on the actual appeals
Yeah,
or.
instead of being an
Yeah.
alternate.
And I guess no one. Anybody interested?
Yeah, I'd like to see some people that are interested in, and then we go from there.
Table,
All right, so we already did the new business. Recommended action, the village board approves the planning board to be lead agency on behalf of the Hillcrest Industries. That was that thing we were talking about, we tabled.
so what is it they're looking to do?
Really, it's just kind of property. They want to put up another building.
And you got the letter from,
Yeah. We all got this, right, Jimmy? So this is the planning board. So I think what needs, and what I'm going to discuss with them, is they need to send this stuff to us. This whole getting it the night of, it's got to stop. Huh? I don't,
or come to the spot.
that'd be nice too. A couple months ago, I didn't realize they're on it.
So you're looking for a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make-
Motion,
Second.
all in favor?
Yeah, it would be, we always have a section. Never.
Well, they were. They asked them, and now I got to get into
But
it.
I mean, it would be nice to get at least one
Active.
of them.
Yes,
Instead
if
of
you,
come monthly.
I agree with them, if
Yeah.
you go to the meeting.
Yeah, I will be discussing it. Yep.
Or they take turns.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I've been on this board for quite a long time. Chris, you too. How many people have shown up at the planning board? I don't even know why it's even on here. But if we get some new faces, hopefully we get some. Be nice. So moving on. Recommended action, the village board approves Camp Hardhead to build a pavilion to Veterans Memorial Park with the guidance of our DPW.
Motion.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. That's going to be awesome.
That's an awesome spot for that.
Absolutely.
Because we need some more shade down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where is it going?
Right behind the pool house. Yeah. As close as we can get to the splash pad.
Okay.
There's it's kind of where part of the old pool was. Yeah. You can see they put some gravel there. It's gonna be a nice spot.
It is.
Because my wife was when we were going down there the other night, she's like, we need more shade down there. And then I'm like, this is where it's gonna be.
Yep.
Well, and the Lions Club is, we're gonna put bathrooms.
Yep.
By the way, they're gonna be coming to village and town.
Next month?
That-
Next month?
To be honest with you, I would have thought they were gonna be here this month. Probably next. Obviously, no one approached you to come, so. I remember correctly, it's somewhere around somewhere.
That really didn't surprise me, actually.
It didn't surprise them either, but it's more than we can do as a club on our own. So we're hopeful that that's when we've done it, we come to the village, come to town.
We planned on doing something that building anyway. Needs. Yeah, it should be
But they're
used.
going to put in 2 bathrooms. It's all been designed. They designed it. Got it approved.
Family style.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely.
Yeah, they're not going to be a male and female bathroom.
Yeah, unisex. Okay. Recommendation, the village board approves a resolution to support submission for the 2024 Main Street grant application.
Yeah,
Yep.
even though it's in Main Street.
Well, it is the Main Street grant.
Yeah.
So that's what they call the grant.
Make a motion.
Motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, see the justice report? Did it come through? Did you? Oh, okay. Assessors report, you guys all got? Fund, what do you mean funds?
Y'all got it before, so that I found. It's showing you what the balances are.
You got a headache?
I'm starting to get quite a bit of pain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was in your packet.
That's what I mean. All right, is there anything else to bring forward to the board? Not, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Well, thank you much for coming, and we'll keep in touch here. Working on it here with my time off. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
I don't even know what this executive session is.
I don't either.
Don't either.
Do we need it or?
Just wanted to ask.
1 minute.
Oh, so it is something you guys have, okay.
It's going to be a quick.
Is this
Yeah,
off?
Real quick.
Again, is that off?
Yeah.
Did you guys get a chance to, those emails that I sent you for the comp time? Over and see.
I,
Oh, I'm sorry.
did you send it to my personal?
No, I sent it to the Chris at Attica or whatever it was.
Oh, Chris Manson.
I'll be very honest with you, I did not see it because I forgot I had that, but
Yeah, no problem. It was because we said we'd re-talk about the board, coming to the board meetings, comp time, and you guys wanted to do straight time, and then you guys said you would think about the time and a half for us, like overtime last.
I think we agreed to 10.5.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
But you guys wanted to think it over for a board meeting. That's the only, or until next board meeting.
Well, I think we're going to look into making sure, because I mean, that's how we're supposed to do it, correct?
That's what,
Yeah,
that's what.
that's
yeah.
a labor law. I mean, I
That's
don't
what
want
the
to.
sheet you showed me.
Yep, that's the sheet that I emailed you. Yeah, so we're just basically asking.
Yeah, we were just checking
If
on
you
that
guys
if you.
made a
Unless it's
decision.
scheduled, correct? Scheduled, I think, is time for time. The way it is with us. I don't know about your bargaining unit.
Scheduled is,
It's,
no.
it's really, it's open to, I guess the informality of it is we're just curious, talking like off the cuff, how you guys feel about it. If you want it to be, if you wanted to have the difference of scheduled versus non-scheduled, which this would be scheduled then too.
Well, we got to kind of go to the letter of the law, just.
Right.
I mean, what's
So
in the contract?
What
however-
there's, so it's not written in the contract yet, but when they gave us the proposal, it was citing current labor law, says that you can't go 1 for 1. It has to be 1 for 1.5 because it would be OT. So that's why she drew up that writing in that way. That was passed to. That was the proposal of what would be the excerpt written into the contract if you guys are.
I didn't get
accepting
what she
of it.
said, though. Tell me what she said about it.
We had it last,
Yeah.
the last board meeting.
Yeah.
Let me see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember
let's
that.
see if we can.
And she did
Yeah,
have
we
on
just want to
here-
make sure we do it right.
It was stating the 1 for 1.5 on any overtime earnings. And we can,
Oh, I remember this now. I do.
Yeah. and then the only thing that we had was proposals of what you guys had for a cap limit, what you guys thought about, like, if you voted yes, what would be a cap limit of earnings that we would have to use within the calendar year.
Or lose it.
Or lose it.
But
Go
so
ahead.
this, is this from Lynn?
That's from Len.
Yes.
Okay. But what I'd like to see is to make sure the department head shall receive compensatory time for attending these meetings. Regular overtime rules apply. Compensation is at 1.5 times hourly rate for all work in excess of 40 hours per week. I think when we do something, we obviously have to go to the lawyer with it first.
Correct.
I'd also like to see something in writing from her stating that that is in fact the labor law.
I do have the email.
Okay, that's what.
Yep, I have an
if you
email
could
that
send
says that,
Send
yep.
that with it, so we can send that with Tim.
Sure.
So we just, like, again, I think everybody up here wants to make sure we do the right thing.
Absolutely.
You know, by the letter of the law.
Right.
So it doesn't
So
fall
she's
back on.
talking about overtime, over the 40 hours. What if this was included in your 40-hour week? Well, she was saying that anything in excess of over 40 hours is 1.5.
Yes.
It
So
would,
if you said in your 40-hour week, you know, make sure you put aside 2 hours for here, then it would be included in your 40-hour week.
Well, that's like that's what we could do. Like if we came in today and we left it, we had an hour and a half, and we said, you know what, Thursday we're gonna leave it an hour and a half, then we could use that hour and a half as straight time. But if it was over it, we worked 40 hours, plus we came to the board meeting for 2 hours, you know, then you would have 3 hours of comp time to bank.
That's what-
And another thing too is she did that for the department heads.
well, so I guess in all clarity, in regards to the comp time as a whole, is the village looking at it from a perspective of only department heads at the village board meeting? Or is it looking to it from a perspective of any overtime that's earned by any village employee? So in specific references would be the scheduled overtime that we have for working all our weekends throughout the year. It could be attributed to, which they already have access to, working their holidays. And also would be eligible for overtime that the streets department could earn on emergency call-ins and plowing time. So
she
I
wrote it up as department heads on there, and I think that's what we talked last time. It was going to be like it was going to be holiday / comp on.
yeah. But or a DPW wide. So that's what we're questioning, because right now, unless it's an excerpt written into the contract, it would only last as long as this contract, because the rest of the Department of Public Works is not going to vote in favor for us 3 getting comp time and no one else getting comp time.
Well, I think the whole thing was like Hans had said, for being here for the meeting, answering the questions.
Correct.
The other people are not going to be coming here. We don't need Ben and Evan and Corey.
No, I understand that.
I
They're
think
talking about
that's-
the extension, like even
Right.
getting called in for snow
For
plowing
plowing.
or something
Correct.
like that.
Yeah.
They'd be
Right.
granted this as well.
So
And then if you're away from their
But isn't
family,
that
they get
something
to
we
have that
have
back
to
to them.
negotiate in?
I
I don't know
would-
how you can. how
It
you
would
can
be
change
accepted
the
as
contract.
well as that is accepted into the current contract that we, as the DPW unit, are giving you the proposal if you
So we have
accept
to
it.
add it as a memorandum.
Correct, as a memorandum that then would be added final in the next contract if
With an
agreed upon
amendment or
in
something.
bargaining.
So they can't,
Yes, but it would be an actual article.
none.
None.
So the only way they can do is if they want to go home early that week, they can.
They'd have to use it within the week.
So we'd have to also probably draw something up, because there might be some that would prefer the money, some that would prefer the time off.
So it's already written in there for the water plant and our plant on holiday uses only. And we have to provide a notification to the village office that when we work a holiday that we don't want to get paid the overtime for, we want to use it as comp time later on at any given point in that calendar year. Fiscal year. Fiscal year. So that's where we were hoping to basically make an an amendment to that existing article within the contract. This is hypothetically speaking, the next contract. This memorandum would just be added into that in speaking to regards to all DPW employees.
Right.
So that's where we're,
In an addendum now.
yes, asking you guys is if you think that it's fair, that it's eligible for any employee working overtime to potentially use that or use the money, or take the money, I'm sorry.
Give the option.
And or, yes, give the option and what that option is at a capped limit. And it would also go to these board meetings, scheduled overtime, emergency overtime, in that 3 regards. I guess is the easiest way to say it.
We'd have to write something up, give it to Tim, and have
Yep.
him go over it.
I can have her
And if we,
I kind
I
of
mean,
put a kibosh to it, you know, like having her do anything because we did. She was doing like 3 things at once, probably, and then I'll get a hold of her. I'll email it to you as soon as I get it. So you can see it. I'll send her first email.
Yeah,
Just from her.
like I say, so it goes with.
What's the cap? How many?
I'd say
That's-
40 hours.
yeah, we
don't.
we're
do
leaving
it
that
at-
up to what you guys feel is a sufficient amount.
Within the calendar year?
The trouble is
Fiscal year.
Fiscal year.
Or
you lose it.
lose it, or you get paid for
She wanted to put you get paid for it, but what? There's,
Well, I mean-
there's nothing for you guys to get. Like I keep it.
But it's no accreditation difference at 1.5 earned time. I understand
it.
what
But
you're
it's
saying.
still, out time, I think.
Correct.
Benefits the village better than technically, because we would be paying you overtime. Or we would be paying straight time off.
Right.
I mean, it's.
It's a wash.
Saves the village money.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
As
good.
long as they can man the, the departments, which I'm sure you as department heads will be responsible.
Yeah, so the way that we've discussed it with the rest of, basically, as president, vice president, we are willing to forego the payout in graciousness of allowing us to utilize it as the time off.
Yeah, you want the time.
And
I'd rather have time off.
I'm fine with
So
that.
you accrue it, if you don't use it, you lose it. and you
Correct.
guys are okay with that.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Then it caps at 40.
That's it, yeah. I mean, that's what we suggested was 40. And now let's say you have 40 and you go to 30. You can re-earn up to 40. It's not a one-time
You just can't go
40
over 40.
use. Correct.
You
You
just
just
can't
cannot
go-
go over it, nor can you go beneath zero in an accreditation of forthcoming.
Yeah, which
You
that,
don't
that,
get
that
another
should
week
be in
of
the wording
personal.
as well.
Right.
I think if you can get her to rewrite it, we can get this to Tim to have him, because he's the one to look at it.
Yeah, because
for
it's,
us.
it's going to,
And then
it's an amendment, so.
Hopefully, next month, make a
Right,
decision on it and get it going.
Yeah, that's the right. That's the intention.
I mean, that all sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm for it. I think all of us just want to make sure we do the right thing. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we just wanted to, like I said, and myself included, wanted to provide the clarity to ensure that we're either telling or not telling the DPW, the rest of the DPW, in their fairness, that this is applicable to any employee within the village. And it can't be used in excess because every village department head, or the department heads, are the ones supervising all the overtime
Well, you have to
anyway.
approve the.
Unless it's an
Yeah,
emergency
right.
call-in, but it has to be noted and detailed in our payroll sheet. So I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, although I assure you that Matt feels the same way as I do, is that we provide the same level of supervision on that as we do with authenticity and honesty that we would hope anyone else would. But I get the concern if you guys had, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel.
Because it's not gonna hurt. It's not like.
No,
somebody-
it's kind of a
somebody
win-win
wants to use
situation,
that day
really.
off.
Right.
You're not calling somebody else in to fill that.
Correct.
spot.
Right.
Right, it's not
In
like
theory.
a police officer that has to be filled. It's usually, okay, if we had a big job that day, we postpone it to the next day, until the guy comes in, you know?
So I mean, it's actually probably a positive.